Hello, everybody, and welcome to the music rating, ranking, and reviewing podcast that we like to call Music Meltdown, in which we rate, rank, and review any artist's discography, catalog, songs, really whatever musical topic that I choose to think of at the moment. For this episode, we're going to be taking a look at the short but sweet discography of the 90s alt country band known as Whiskeytown. They were fronted by, of course, Ryan Adams, as well as Caitlin Carey. They only put out 3 records, but they have a couple of EPs as well, so there's more to the discography than what immediately meets the eye. And yeah, there's not a ton to really stress in terms of the records. I didn't really know any of these going into it. Was pretty much all brand new to me. Ryan Adams is somebody that had been on my radar for a while. He was somebody that just sort of based upon other artists that I was really into at the time and I'm currently into, just sort of seemed like I should have gotten into, and I decided to start out with his band, of course, Whiskeytown, because this is obviously where he started out, because his first solo record didn't come out until after Secret Almanac, and then the last Whiskeytown record came out whenever he was already into his solo career, and you could kind of tell by that point he was starting to splinter off, but we'll get into that more whenever we talk about the records. I really enjoyed this. I think that all 3 of them have plenty of merit to them, and I can definitely see this being a circumstance of any of them really being your favorite. Just kind of depends on where you fall in terms of the catalog. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and kick this off now with my number 3 being the debut record, Faithless Street. This record falling to the bottom really is just a bit of a formality due to the format. It's a high 4 stars, same with my following record, and they're very tight between this one. I do think that this one does end up falling to the bottom, however, due to a lack of originality. At this point, they're very derivative of Uncle Tupelo or Sunvolt, especially in Ryan's vocals, which sound a lot like Jay Farrar across this record. And while they don't kill the record, it does make me struggle to truly call it great. The element that really elevates this, as well as the other 2 Whiskeytown records, is the sound and the production. I love the 90s alt country sound. All 3 of these records are just absolutely stunning. And even if all of the songs were bad at their core, I could still really fall in love with them just because of how gorgeous the soundscapes are. Despite that, this record has plenty of great songs, though. My favorites of which being Midway Park, Tennessee Square, the title track, Black Arrow Bleeding Heart, and the closer Revenge. Sadly, though, this album does end up having my least favorite song by them being Too Drunk to Dream, which ends up just sounding rather stock to me. But overall, it's a really strong listen, and I would definitely give it a recommendation. Moving up, moving up from there, I have the final record, Pneumonia. Like I said before, very tight between this one and Faithless Street. I did end up going with this one a little bit higher due to just having a few weaker songs, but it really is a coin toss between these 2. The downside here is that you can definitely tell Ryan was already into a solo career, having put out his debut and working on stuff like Demolicious already. But despite that, the overall band does feel a bit lost compared to the previous 2 records, notably missing some of the great vocal contributions found from Caitlin. Despite that, there's still some really amazing songs across this record. The Ballad of Carol Lynn is a stunning opener, and Jacksonville Skyline is great. Some of my other favorites included Under Your Breath, Paper Moon, and Like About You. This album tended to, if I'm being brutally honest, production-wise, veer into a bit of pop country, which I don't love necessarily, but I feel like the songs themselves are able to work well in tandem with that sound and bring it out to another pretty strong 4-star album. It does run a tad long, though, this one being nearly an hour in length. And while they were already a little bit longer, A Secret Almanac, I feel like all the songs were able to justify that. This one does have a couple of clunkers that keep it at my number 2 spot, but it is what it is. Still a very good record. And at my number 1, perhaps rather predictably, I have the record Secret Almanac. And to me, it's just clearly the best of the 3. It's where Whiskeytown as a group were able to perfect the sound and just find themselves working overall better as a unit. The songwriting across the record is just great. Ryan really coming into his own here as a vocalist as well. And his performances are just top notch. Same with Caitlin's. In Town is a great opener. Excuse Me While I Break My Heart Tonight is one of those perfect songs that fall into the second track. Everything I do is beautiful, and just for this album, back front to back, it's just really gorgeous to me. The production, like I said on Faithless Street, is really what puts it over the edge as well. For me, I would consider this to be a bit of an alt country classic and should be viewed with the highest of praises. I only have it at 4.5 at the moment just due to my unfamiliarity, having only heard it once or twice, but it's still a very strong record and a highly recommended one from me. And that being said, though, that is my thoughts on the three records of Whiskeytown. A very strong band, a very good catalog despite that, and one that I highly recommend you check out. Not entirely sure what's going to go up after this, but if you would join the Discord server, you'll have full access to that. With that being said, I really hope that you enjoyed, and if you did, tell me your opinions on Whiskeytown. That being said, I really hope that you stick around and you have a good one. Bye.